in a joyful way, in a rejoicing way, because I love it. You have to like it to be in it this long.
Yeah.
In the world of music, legends are made on stage and through their recordings, but the spotlight can be blinding. We idolize musicians for their talent, but what about the person behind the music? Today, we delve into the dark side of the industry, uncovering the shocking truth about some respected musicians who were actually terrible people. Let's begin. At number 10, Phil Spector. Phil Spector was a music legend. He wasn't a singer himself, but the man behind the microphone for some of the biggest girl groups of the 1960s, like the Ronettes and the Crystals. Spector invented a unique recording style called the wall of sound that layered instruments and vocals to create a powerful, almost overwhelming sound. Think of it as a pop music avalanche. Spector was a perfectionist, and some might say a tyrant in the recording studio. He locked singers in, wouldn't let them leave until he got the sound he wanted, and there were rumors he even threatened them with guns. But Spector's troubles went far beyond the recording studio. In 2003, he was accused of murdering actress Lana Clarkson at his mansion. After a lengthy trial, he was found guilty and sentenced to prison. He died behind bars in 2021. So Phil Spector's legacy is a mixed bag. His music productions are undeniable classics, but the man himself was a troubled and ultimately criminal figure. He's a reminder that sometimes the talented people we admire can be deeply flawed. Number 9, Jerry Lee Lewis. Jerry Lee Lewis was a rock and roll pioneer. His wild piano playing and energetic performances set stages on fire in the 1950s. Songs like Great Balls of Fire and Whole Lot of Shakin' Going On captured the rebellious spirit of the new music. Lewis earned the nickname The Killer for his electrifying performances, but some might say it fit his offstage life too. Lewis's personal life was a mess. He married his 13-year-old cousin in 1958, which caused a huge scandal and nearly destroyed his career. He argued their marriage was legal in their home state, but audiences were disgusted. Lewis never quite recovered his early superstardom. On top of the marriage scandal, Lewis was known to be a heavy drinker and reportedly wasn't the kindest husband. Despite the bad behavior, Lewis kept performing for decades. He even had a country music comeback later in his life. So how do we remember Jerry Lee Lewis, a musical genius who helped define rock and roll, but also a man who made terrible choices in his personal life? Number 8, Gene Simmons. Gene Simmons, the fire-breathing, tongue-wagging bass player of Kiss, is a rock and roll legend. His outrageous stage persona and business savvy helped probe Kiss to superstardom, but beneath the makeup and theatrics, there's a side to Gene that's not so picture perfect. On the business side, Gene's a shrewd operator. He's famous for his relentless pursuit of money, often clashing with bandmates and even record companies over profits. Some admire his business acumen, others see him as greedy and exploitative. Then there are the comments. Gene's known for making brash, often offensive statements. He's criticized artists who don't own their music, slammed reality TV, and even argued that rock and roll is dead. While some see him as refreshingly honest, others find him arrogant and out of touch. But the most serious accusations against Gene involve his treatment of women. Multiple allegations of S*Jewel misconduct have dogged him for years. He's denied them all, but the cloud of controversy lingers. Even Gene himself admits he's not exactly Mr. Nice Guy. He's spoken openly about his past as a self-proclaimed playboy, and his lyrics often objectify women. Whether it's a stage persona or something deeper, it doesn't paint a pretty picture. Here's the thing. You can love Kiss's music and appreciate Gene's business skills, but it's hard to ignore the other side. Is he a terrible person? That's for you to decide. Number 7, Chuck Berry. Chuck Berry, the name practically screams rock and roll. His energetic guitar riffs and catchy lyrics like Johnny Be Good and Maybelline defined the genre in the 1950s. He's a musical legend, but there's a dark side to the man behind the music. Here's the not-so-great part. Berry was accused of multiple assaults on underage women throughout his career. In 1961, he was even sent to prison for transporting a 14-year-old girl across state lines for immoral purposes. While some charges were dropped or he served lighter sentences, The pattern of accusations is troubling, to say the least. Beyond the legal issues, Barry was known to be a difficult character. He had a reputation for exploiting musicians who played with him and was even caught spying on women in restrooms, a bizarre and unsettling detail. So how do we deal with Chuck Berry's legacy? His music is undeniably influential, a foundation for countless rock acts. But the weight of the accusations against him can't be ignored. It forces us to confront the uncomfortable truth that some musical heroes are, well, not exactly heroes in real life. Number 6, James Brown, the godfather of soul. James Brown was a musical powerhouse. His electrifying performances and funky grooves on songs like I Got You, X Machine, and Papa Was a Rolling Stone made him a legend. Brown's influence on music is undeniable, but his personal life was a rough record. Brown had a reputation for being a demanding and sometimes cruel leader to his bands, the Famous Flames, and the JBs. Reports of unpaid wages, physical abuse, and controlling behavior paint a picture of a man who prioritized his vision over the well-being of those who helped create it. This dark side extended to his romantic relationships as well, with accusations of domestic violence against several partners. Beyond the treatment of those close to him, Brown also faced legal troubles. He was arrested multiple times for drug possession and weapons charges. While some saw these incidents as fueled by the pressures of fame, they cast a shadow on his legacy. James Brown's story is complex. He was a musical innovator who brought joy to millions, but also a man capable of inflicting pain on those around him. Number 5, Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson, the king of pop, was a music legend known for his incredible talent, iconic songs like Thriller, and mesmerizing dance moves. His career started early as part of the Jackson 5, and he quickly became a superstar. But behind the fame, Jackson's life was full of troubling issues. Jackson had a difficult childhood with an abusive father, which many believe affected him deeply. As he grew older, he became known for his unusual behavior and changing appearance due to multiple plastic surgeries and a skin condition called vitiligo. However, the most serious concerns were about his relationships with children. In 1993, a 13-year-old boy accused Jackson of sexual abuse. The case was settled out of court for a large sum of money, but it left many questions unanswered. In 2003, more accusations led to a highly publicized trial in 2005. Jackson was charged with molesting another 13-year-old boy, but was found not guilty. Despite the acquittal, many people remained suspicious. Jackson also struggled with prescription drug addiction, which contributed to his death in 2009 from an overdose. His doctor was convicted of involuntary manslaughter. Michael Jackson's story is a mix of amazing music and serious controversies. Number 4, R. Kelly. R. Kelly was once a musical titan. Nicknamed the King of R&B, his smooth vocals and catchy songs dominated the 90s and early 2000s. But behind the music, a dark truth festered for decades. Kelly's career started with a bang. Signed at a young age, he churned out hit after hit, becoming an R&B superstar. His lyrics, however, often hinted at darker themes. Whispers of inappropriate relationships with underage girls began swirling around him. And in 1994, a marriage certificate surfaced showing Kelly had illegally married the then 15-year-old singer Aaliyah. The marriage was annulled, but it was a massive red flag. Despite the allegations, Kelly's music remained popular. Then came the 2002 video. A tape emerged showing Kelly engaging in sexually explicit acts with a minor. He was indicted on child pornography charges, but was acquitted by a jury in 2008. Many fans, however, were troubled. The accusations never truly faded. Then, in 2019, the docuseries Surviving R. Kelly aired, featuring extensive interviews with alleged victims. These women painted a disturbing picture of Kelly using his fame to exploit young fans. The tide finally turned, public outrage mounted, and Kelly faced renewed legal scrutiny. In 2021 and 2022, he was convicted on multiple counts of S*X trafficking and child S*X abuse. Sentenced to over 30 years in prison, R. Kelly, the once celebrated musician, became a symbol of the dark side of fame. Number 3, John Lennon. John Lennon, a guy who's both a hero and a bad guy. John was a Beatle, a band that changed music forever. Songs like Imagine made him a peace-loving icon, but his real life wasn't so picture-perfect. Lennon's dad left when he was little, and he often fought with his aunt who raised him. This rough start might explain why he could be mean and even violent, especially towards women when he was younger. He even admitted to hurting girlfriends and his first wife. Being a megastar with the Beatles was tough. Super fame hit John in his early 20s, and the pressure got to him. He started using hard drugs a lot, which made him sad and messed up. He wasn't nice to his bandmates anymore, and things got tense with his songwriting partner, Paul McCartney. But later in life, John tried to be a better person. He met Yoko Ono, his wife and artistic partner, who helped him calm down and find peace. John became a big voice for peace, singing against war and fighting for a better world. He put his pain and anger into powerful songs like Gimme Some Truth. John Lennon's story is like a mixed-up playlist. The amazing musician who sang about peace also had a past full of hurting people. It's confusing, but it's important to see the whole picture. John Lennon, talented, troubled, and capable of both inspiring beauty and causing pain. Maybe it shows that even messed up people can fight for good and that finding peace can be a long, bumpy road. Number 2, Axl Rose. Axl Rose, the volatile voice of Guns N' Roses. Axl Rose, the lead singer of Guns N' Roses, is a rock enigma. His soaring vocals and electrifying stage presence made him a rock icon. But Axl's story isn't all about sold-out stadiums and anthems like Sweet Child O' Mine. His reputation is as volatile as his performances. Guns N' Roses exploded onto the scene in the late 80s, capturing the raw energy and rebellion of a generation. Axl, with his signature bandana and wild mane of hair, became the face of the band, but behind the rock star facade, a storm brewed. Axl's perfectionism and fiery temper were legendary. He clashed with bandmates, showed up late to concerts, and sometimes even canceled entire tours. This earned him a reputation for being difficult and unreliable. There's also a darker side. Guns N' Roses music often dealt with themes of addiction and violence, reflecting Axl's own struggles. He's opened up about a tough childhood and battles with substance abuse. While these experiences inform his music, they've also been linked to some of his more destructive behavior. Despite the controversy, Axl's undeniable talent and the enduring popularity of Guns N' Roses keep him in the spotlight. Love him or hate him, he's a force to be reckoned with. Number 1, Woody Guthrie. Woody Guthrie is an American icon. His songs like This Land Is Your Land and Blowin' in the Wind became anthems for social justice and the struggles of working people. But Woody's story, like many legends, is more complicated than it seems. There's no doubt Woody championed the downtrodden. He roamed the country during the Dust Bowl and Great Depression, singing about the hardships faced by farmers and migrant workers. His music gave voice to the voiceless, inspiring generations of activists. Well, Woody wasn't perfect. His personal life was messy. He left his first wife and children while chasing his musical dreams. He struggled with alcoholism throughout his life, which sometimes impacted his relationships and work. Some scholars also point out limitations in his views. While fighting for the working class, Woody sometimes held prejudiced views towards certain minority groups, reflecting the biases of his time. This can be jarring when listening to his music today. Another interesting wrinkle: This Land Is Your Land itself has a hidden history. Originally, the song criticized the wealthy landowners who profited while others suffered. These verses were later removed, making the song more universally appealing, but also sanitizing its message. This brings us to the end of our video. Hope you like our video. We'd really appreciate your support. If you could lend us a hand by following us, clicking on the bell icon for notifications, and leaving your valuable comments, it would mean a lot to us. Sending you warm regards from our corner of the world. Take care and goodbye for now.